watched The Harder They Fall on Netflix. I wasn't particularly a fan. I'm not a big fan of Westerns. I don't really like the shooting. There was a lot of aspects that were really cool about this movie, but like for me, ultimately, this just wasn't my jam. Yeah, I don't know, what do you think?
I loved this movie. I absolutely loved it. So I play Red Dead Redemption 2 in my gaming crew. And for anyone who has never watched our episodes before, if this is the first one, I'm very active in my crew and play a lot of video games. And Red Dead is the main one that I play with the crew. We also play GTA, but Red Dead's like mine that I love the most. So it was like watching a movie about Red Dead. I mean, there were so many similarities. Like there were even some of the clothes that are in Red Dead, they were wearing like the exact same clothes. Like
Oh,
there
that's
was
cool.
hats that are the exact same one. Of course, I mean some of those hats were replicas from that time that they have in the game, but some of the towns in this movie looked exactly like some of the towns in Red Dead. So, I mean, it was just like someone was playing Red Dead when they designed this set and these clothes and this storyline. Like, this is so much like Red Dead. So I absolutely loved it because it was just like I finally get that pleasure of seeing my favorite game in movie form. So it was wonderful. And then I think one thing that I loved about this movie is that almost I think all of the leading characters are black actors and actresses. So seeing a Western that is full of black actors and actresses instead of just all white people was so refreshing. Like it was so great to see that. And because I'm a historian and I have a degree in history, it was really good to see uh, black people
Representation.
represented. Yeah, represented instead of just being erased from history. You know,
Because you know that this was totally a thing. And I think they did a disclaimer at the beginning that, like, while this specific story didn't happen, all of those people were real people that
yeah,
existed. And you're like, that's so cool. Because, like, we know there's no way that it was just white people in like the Westerns.
right,
Like, there's no way.
right,
All of this stuff had to have happened and had to include black people. Like,
yeah. And I think I don't. Do you know what year the setting was in this?
I don't,
Was
but I
the
can look it
eighteen
up.
nineties?
See.
I feel like it may have been the 90s. I know that Red Dead is the setting is 1899 is supposed to be the main year that it's based off of. Um, and I feel like this was around that time too. And um, so it was after the Civil War and Emanci- Emancipation Proclamation. I can't say it, which was
Yeah, so they're
that
saying
was signed, I
approximately
think, in
between
65, 1865.
1870s to 1890s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was after the Emancipation Proclamation in 65. Um, so just getting to see them have those roles and not be in so much that so many things that black people played a role in, they're just erased from for history. Like especially like high school history and stuff. Now, whenever you go to school for history and you get good professors that don't, that have done their research and looked at, because like in my Civil War class, we read a book that was multiple journals from people during that time, and one of the main people in that was a black man, where he was actually a free person, and then whenever he was going on a trip, he basically got forced into working on this uh, in like a salt factory, I think it was. Um, and he didn't want to. He wasn't trying to be there, and he was like having to fight, to prove that he was a free man. And it was down in Mississippi, I believe, like by the ocean. Um, so I mean, it was just really, it was good getting to see their representation and it not just be white people and that their history not being completely erased and being portrayed. It was so refreshing.
The part of this that I really did like, because like I said, I'm not a shooting fan, so like all of the shootings, and I feel like all like Westerns, it's such silly things that they're all just killing each other over. Like it's just so irrelevant. But what I really liked is they also had women at like in
Yes.
very powerful roles. So the woman that's behind you, she was basically like the second in command of one of the biggest gangs, and like she was feared. And then they had the other woman, she ran a brothel and she was respected, and like, you know, when her person at the door told you to put your gun away and that she was the only one allowed to carry a gun, they all checked their guns, like,
Yeah.
and it was just
Yeah,
so
seeing
nice.
women in power, uh,
Hmm.
that was refreshing too. Because in a lot of westerns, a lot of times
Yeah,
you
you
don't see
don't.
that. I mean, occasionally there's some women that have a little bit of power in westerns, but not like in this one. And then not only were they women, but they were strong black women.
Yeah,
And so that it was great. I loved
yeah.
this movie.
So that part I really did love. And had it been a movie focusing like fully on like the black women of like the Western era and like what they did and their contributions, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But it was just a bunch of men killing each other over like something stupid. And it's just like, no, 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 show me more of this woman running things. Show me more of like her brothel. Cause like um there were a lot of brothel owners in the Western times that were like the top earner of their communities.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because
they,
they would have a saloon where they would
mhm,
have poker and things like that going on. And then they also had the brothel going on. So it was just like a place of entertainment. And
yeah, like the men would
that
get
was all
their
they had for
paychecks and they
entertainment.
would literally just hand their paychecks over and be like, this is what I have. What can I get right now for it? And
Yeah.
so it's like they were like the pillars of the community, and they built towns. Like you don't see that because they wash all that out, but they're like they literally built towns around brothels.
Yeah.
Um, because that's what, what else are you supposed to do
Yeah, they
after you
didn't
get off
have
work?
movie theaters and, places like that to go to. That was the entertainment. That was it.
And I loved the Western, like when they did that full town shot with those like gorgeous, like, um, buildings. I love it. Like I love the Western towns. It's the shooting. I just don't like it.
Man, their shooting was great in this. Like they did a really good job. Like they had to have been very skilled shooters to be as good as it was portrayed in this. Because it was definitely impressive. Like I can't imagine having those older style guns and being as accurate as people were, because you had to be accurate back then. Like if
Yeah.
you are in a shootout, like you've got to be accurate or you're dead. Like there's no, way around that. It wasn't like now where they don't have shootouts. I mean, it's very rare. Like, it's not a planned thing in your life that you may have a shootout. Where back then, it's probably pretty common. Um, so
Yeah, I will say it
it was
was
a
it
good
was
movie.
extremely well done. I just the blood, the shooting, all that. Like the storyline, I really did like the storyline. I like that it went through like a bunch of different things. I really didn't know where it was going. It was kind of a long movie. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think, or 2 hours and 18, something over 2 hours. Um, so it was long, but like it was a very entertaining movie. And which is funny because like they kind of foreshadowed what would happen in the beginning, but I didn't realize until like I was literally at the end. I went, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I can see where I missed all of these hints.
Yeah, and I like that there was humor in it too. Like there was
Yeah,
a
they were
really good humor
so
aspect.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
So
good.
many good quips, like just so good, which made it really like fun to watch because it wasn't like this is serious. We're
Yeah.
very serious, tough people. It was like, no, like we're also hilarious, you guys.
Yeah, it was one of the best westerns I've ever watched. I mean, and which I'm not a huge western fan um as far as movies go, but it was one of the best I've ever seen. I was very impressed and it was really good. Not wanting to give out any spoilers or anything, but
Yeah.
it's really really good. And if you play Red Dead, I think that you would genuinely love this movie just because it will feel like you're in the game. Um,
Yeah, it did look very accurate, and like it looked like somebody took a lot of time and did a lot of research.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was a good movie. It wasn't like I I wouldn't watch it again. only
I would.
because of the shooting. But like if they did like another one where they focused more on like everybody's personal lives, I would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. I loved it. I mean, even like the style, like you see this picture behind me, that kind of greenish black and red. That's even like the style that Red Dead stuff is done in. Like I'm telling you, it was very Red Dead. Um, like just even little things was like that's in Red Dead. That's in Red Dead. That's how Red Dead does it. That's like I'm surprised Rockstar is not a part of this movie, or will not end up suing them for copying their game. Like because it's so much like Red Dead. Um, but no, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Awesome. Well,
Okay.
The Harder They Fall on Netflix. If you like westerns, if you love Red Dead, this is the movie for you. Let us know what you guys think of it. And as always, let us know if you have any other suggestions for things to watch.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll see you next
Bye.
time. Bye.